Today, we're digging into the German state of Hessen. Now, you might know it for Frankfurt, its huge financial center. But behind all those skyscrapers, a really tough battle is being fought. A complex war against both drug crime and addiction. So, how exactly do you fight a war that's happening on two different fronts?
That's the big question, isn't it? It's something governments all over the world are trying to figure out. Do you go all in on law and order, or do you focus on public health? Well, in Hessen, they're trying to do both at the same time. You see, the authorities there are taking on this crisis with a pretty unique dual-pronged strategy. It's a story about police raids and compassionate outreach, about facing down organized crime while also facing the very real human suffering that fuels it.
So, let's start with the first front in this war the police crackdown. Frankfurt isn't just a banking hub, it's also one of Germany's biggest centers for drug trafficking, and law enforcement is hitting back hard against the organized crime rings running the show. 12. That's the number of people arrested in just one major police operation. It was a huge hit against a trafficking ring that was really profiting from the desperation of people struggling with addiction.
And when they conducted these raids, they found a lot more than just drugs. They seized firearms and huge sums of cash. This shows you just how dangerous these criminal groups really are. The fight against drugs is, without a doubt, also a fight against violent, organized crime.
And this isn't just a problem contained to Frankfurt. Just look at the nearby city of Darmstadt. A single search of one apartment turned up 20 kilograms of hashish and 1,500 ecstasy pills. You can see how hashish made up a huge chunk of that one seizure alone. Police successes like these are really disrupting the supply of all kinds of drugs across the entire region.
But, enforcement actions and arrest numbers, they only tell half the story. To really get why this fight is so incredibly urgent, we have to look at the devastating human cost of the drugs themselves, especially a new and dangerous wave of synthetic substances.
What experts are really sounding the alarm about right now are synthetic drugs, especially crystal meth. The fact that more and more people are using it points to this demand for drugs that are seen as performance-enhancing, but they come at a terrible, terrible price.
And the reality of that price is just horrifying. This quote here on the screen, it translates to paranoia, psychoses, and a rapid physical and mental decline. This makes it crystal clear that we're not just talking about a crime problem, this is a profound public health emergency.
And that right there brings us to the second front in Hessen's war on drugs. This one isn't built on punishment. It's built on help, on compassion, and on innovation. This is where a totally different kind of fight is taking place. So you've got these two core strategies, side by side. On one hand, you have the crackdown, the necessary police raids and arrests. And on the other hand, you have this new path focused on mobile help and integrated care. Hessen is betting big that you absolutely need both to win. So what does this new path actually look like on the ground? Well, take Frankfurt's mobile help teams. They don't just wait in an office for people to show up. No, they go right to the drug hotspots, places like the Constablewache Square, to meet people where they are, build trust, and, this is key, motivate them to get into therapy. It's a totally proactive, boots-on-the-ground approach. And it's not just these mobile teams out there on their own. They're part of a much bigger, statewide support network. For example, in the city of Kassel, they have events like Psychiatry Day to bring experts together, linking addiction services directly with mental health care. The whole state is adopting this holistic view, understanding that you can't really treat addiction without also addressing mental illness. They're seen as two sides of the same coin. So we have these two fronts: tough enforcement taking on the criminals and compassionate support for the individuals caught in the cycle. The big takeaway from Hessen's approach is that these are not competing ideas. They are two essential parts of one single unified fight. At the very heart of this entire support strategy is a simple but incredibly powerful message, spoken directly to those who are struggling. Du bist nicht allein. You are not alone. It's a message of hope, a promise that help is out there, and that it's free and anonymous.
And this really sums up the lesson from Hessen's experience. A truly effective strategy needs both: a firm hand against the criminal networks that profit from all this misery, and an open hand to help lift up the people who've become victims of addiction. So this all leaves us with one final big question. When you're fighting a crisis on two fronts, one of crime and one of health, where is true victory actually found? Is it measured in the number of arrests, or is it in the number of lives that are rebuilt? Henson's approach seems to suggest that the real answer lies somewhere in the balance between the two.